What's up, everybody? It's the Pope Elijah Burke, and I want you to tune in whenever you can to make sure that you're listening to Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast with Adam and Fiona.
Go. Welcome back to the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast. A kind of Exodus Pro conversation we're going to be having, amongst other things today. First things first, my wonderful co-host Fee. This is the second day in a row that you're joining me here. How are
I
you feeling
know, and
about
I'm
this?
not sick of you yet.
Well, you've got plenty of time yet, that's for sure. But Fee, look, our guest today, we saw. Oh, middle last year, perhaps middle about
hmm
August time last year on Exodus Pro. He's not just at Exodus Pro; he's at other places as well. But that's where we see him. So we're looking forward to having this conversation with him. It is Mr. Handsome Harley. How are you, sir?
Hey, how's it going? Very cold because the area where I live's been hit with a snowstorm the last couple days, but I'm getting through it. I've been still hitting the gym, still staying on point with the diet, still feeling pretty good overall. So yeah, I'd say overall I'm doing pretty good.
Good. It's good. It's good to have you on as well. You mentioned that, and as a wrestler, and obviously you mentioned you obviously do another job that pays your bills. But in this kind of when this weather is this bad, and for those of you that haven't seen it, it is crazy over in America with the snow at the minute. How difficult is it to keep? Because obviously you've got to train, you've got to work out, you've got to eat, still got to eat right. But in those sort of damaging climate conditions and those horrendous conditions that you've been having, how hard has it been to keep doing it, so to speak?
So it can be difficult. I'm a little lucky because I do have stuff here at my house to where I can, if I need to, I can work out here at the house. Like I got a squat rack, I have a bench press, all that stuff. I prefer to go to a public gym.
Yeah.
It
Mm.
just when weather's as nasty as it was this past weekend, uh, I at least have a fallback plan. Um, as for everything else, like the weather is probably the most unpredictable thing because if you have a really nasty snowstorm, you could have canceled shows, you could have vehicle difficulties, travel problems because a normal route might be completely snowed out, car accidents, etc. So it can be very difficult weather-wise, but it's one of the hazards of the job you kind of have to take with it.
Yeah, you certainly do. I saw a picture. I was talking to you before we started. I saw a picture of you on Facebook of the car. Is it still that undercover with snow now, or is it a bit better?
No, it took me 3 hours of shoveling snow on Monday, like three and a half
Oh,
hours to get it uncovered. But I did get it uncovered, and I was able to go out and do some door dashing last night. Made a good bit of money. I'm planning on doing that later today. But since Sunday, I think we got hit with the worst of it on Sunday,
yeah.
and then Monday was just me trying to get my car out.
Is that been busier than normal because of the weather, the DoorDash, or does it
Yeah,
fluctuate? Yeah, it has.
no, absolutely. Like weather is a big factor. Not only if I'm able to uh, do the job, but also for how much money I can make doing the job.
Yeah.
Because if the weather's really bad, people don't want to go out. People want to just stay home, and then they just order stuff off DoorDash. And when they do that, DoorDash gets really busy, so they try to get drivers to participate more by offering them more money. And by offering us more money,
Ah,
it means that it goes up. It's a very risk reward kind of thing because
yeah.
if it's snowing super bad, I'm not looking to crash my car. But at the same time, I can make some really, really good money if the weather is not too favorable.
Yeah, definitely. So, Fee, why don't you ask the first wrestling question of the evening? 'Cause we've talked about weather, cars, DoorDash, and
Better
everything else.
cars. I know. We're really kind of here to talk about wrestling, to be honest with you. So you've been around for what, about 12, 13 years coming up now, is that right?
Yes, I started training to be a professional wrestler in 2012. And my first live event that I participated in was in 2013.
Oh, that's cool. That's quite quick actually. I know like some people over here a lot longer between kind of first doing some training and getting their first match. That's pretty cool. We obviously know you from Exodus Pro.
Mhm.
We've seen you mainly in kind of multi-man matches. We haven't seen so much of you as a singles wrestler. In terms of wrestling, what's your kind of preference? Do you prefer? I know that you've had tag team gold at where was it? KSWA. So I know you've had
Yes.
tag team gold there. What's your kind of preferred method of wrestling? Singles, tag team, multi-man? What do you like?
So, well, there's a rewarding factor to both tag team wrestling and to singles wrestling for me. I've been a singles wrestler a lot of my career. I've held multiple different singles titles. I have a whole, if anybody wants to check out my Instagram, I have a resume where I have all the belts I've ever won listed there. Um, I've held multiple tag titles as well. They tell different stories and there's different like things with them. Obviously, as a single star, it's a little bit more about me. I'm able to shine a little bit more. When I'm doing tag team stuff, it's obviously about the team working together and the team shining. But I do kind of favor tag wrestling a little bit more because of um, first, some people might not want to believe this, but I do have a twin brother, and me and him grew up watching like the Hardys, the Dudleys, Edge and Christian. Like we thought you had to be related to be a good tag team growing up. So that was kind of always our thing. We really, really dug tag team wrestling. So while I do like being a singles wrestler and I do enjoy what comes with that, I do also very much enjoy tag team wrestling. I probably lean a little bit more towards tag team
Yeah.
We
Okay.
love tag team wrestling, Fee.
Yeah, I'm a big tag team wrestling fan. I actually made it out a couple of years ago to the Crockett Cup in Nashville,
wrestling.
so that was amazing. That was on my bucket list of shows to go and see. So I made it to the Crockett Cup the year the Briscoes won. So
Oh,
that
very
was
nice.
yeah, that was pretty cool. But like I said, we'd seen you on Exodus Pro. I want to know, like the last time we saw you in the most magnificent robe, which was giving off major Ric Flair vibes. Major, major. Is he one of your kind of? Would he be on your Mount Rushmore?
So that's I see a lot of people asking about like the Mount Rushmore question, and it's very hard to narrow down to just four because wrestling's obviously like it takes community.
Yeah,
Obviously, there's guys on the lower card, mid card, upper card, uh, even the guys who are the dark match get the crowd warmed up. Like everybody has their parts to play. And so, like, without some of those lesser talent, would a guy like Ric Flair actually be as great and remembered the way he is, or would he just be like another guy because somebody else was in that spot or this spot or what have you? But I definitely think Ric Flair is up there as one of the guys who I kind of took a lot of inspiration from. Mainly because, and this is no offense to any modern day wrestlers, I think what a lot of guys do is extremely athletic and it's cool, but I can't do a backflip to save my life. I'm
neither can
not
I. It's all right.
so I leaned more towards the technical side of it.
Mhm.
I enjoyed more of doing the technical stuff like Ric Flair, telling more of a physical story with like my facials, my body language and stuff like that, rather than okay, let me do a moonsault and do this and do that. Mainly just because, like I said, I can't do it backwards to save my life. So I'd rather lean more towards my strengths than my weaknesses. So I'd find a guy like Ric Flair more appealing to me than a guy, let's say, oh, I don't know, like Rey Mysterio.
Okay.
No offense to Rey Mysterio, he's great. He's one of the greatest of all time. But I'm not going to do what Rey Mysterio does.
Yeah.
No,
Your
definitely
robe
not.
was beautiful, by the way.
Yeah,
Oh, thank you very much.
that was one of the highest. Well, I think we sure we spoke about that, did we not on the show? Did we
I
not
think we
talk
might
about?
have done, yeah.
We may have mentioned that on the show.
Yeah, you were definitely giving off the kind of Flair, almost Flair sort of slash Austin Idol vibes for me that night.
It's
I've
quite
had a lot of people. I've mentioned Ric Flair when they've looked at me. I've had some mention Buddy Landell, and more recently when I've looked at some stuff, I've noticed a little bit more of like stunning Steve Austin because he would come out with the flashy robes
Yeah.
and blonde and everything like that. So I noticed a little bit of that, and again, that's all probably little things that I've subconsciously picked up and was like, oh, I'll use a little of this and a little of this and a little of this.
it's
Again, well, just
interesting.
look at my name. You had Stunning Steve, and I'm Handsome Harley. So,
That was literally what I was going to talk about. That's what I was going to say because stunning Steve Handsome Harley. But do you, when you hear that as well, when you say about technical background, do you sometimes, when maybe when you first hear it and it's the first time somebody says somebody different, do you start then to look them up and think, can I
Oh
do,
yeah.
is there things like that I can do and bring into my game to portray maybe that version a bit more?
Yes, absolutely. The first time I met Aaron Stevens, formerly known as Damien Sandow,
Yeah.
uh, it was for a tryout for Exos Pro. This was a couple years back, and they asked, "Well, have you ever heard of Buddy Landell?" And at the time I hadn't. I was like, no, I hadn't." He's like, "Go watch his stuff, come back, and let's see what you pick up from watching him." So I
Mm.
did, and like they were 100% right. I looked like Buddy Landell. I walked like Buddy Landell. It's like a few little tweaks here or there, and watching some of the stuff, I was like, oh, I could definitely use this. I could use this again. A prime example is the corkscrew elbow drop that Buddy
Yeah.
would always do as a finish. I do that as a move all the time, and I
Yeah.
started doing that because I watched Buddy Landell do it.
Interesting. That's why I thought it was kind of because when people say, "Oh, you should look at this. You're like this. You're like that." You start watching them, and you're like, "Yeah, I could implement that." I mean, obviously, if it's like a Rey Mysterio, like you say, you ain't gonna be doing backflips and whatnot else. But if it was somebody that has that kind of style, you would be able to sort of maybe even reinvent it in many ways into a Handsome Harley version of a Buddy
Yeah.
Landau or a Ric Flair. You mentioned Exodus there, and you said you had a tryout. When did it? When did this sort of happen from having the tryout to them saying, "Hey, we want it. You want you to come on the show"?
So when I did the trial for Exodus Pro, it was actually an Exodus Pro slash NWA tryout.
Oh, okay.
Billy Corgan was even in attendance, and I did the tryout. I got to talk to Billy Corgan. He told me I need to get in a little bit better TV shape, but overall, he thought my work was solid. And then about a year goes by, and I get a message. I get an email actually from Exodus Pro from EC3 and the staff from there saying that they were starting up a training camp and gave me the price and everything like that. And I knew that this was an opportunity for me to try to get my foot in the door somewhere bigger than where I'm working now or where I was working then at that time. So I literally took a loan out from my bank and signed up, paid in full first day. And for 6 months, I went to the co op at the time. Now it's called the pro op, the training camp that EC3 and several others from Exodus Pro were running, and that's how I got my foot in the door at Exodus Pro.
Wow, interesting. And then it all went from there. What was it like when it was when they said to you, "Hey, we want you to come on that. We want you to come on your first show." How was that for you? Was it like vindication a little bit? You'd done that school, you'd paid the money up front, you'd worked hard, you'd done everything, and you're getting that reward of being on the Exodus Pro program.
So I got onto the Exodus Pro shows during the training camp, so it wasn't like afterwards or anything like that.
Oh,
But it was a little bit of time after I started. So it was one of those things where because I was showing up and I was showing that I wanted to be there and I was showing the effort and I was putting in the work and I was picking up what they were teaching, they said, okay, well, and they even said at the beginning of the camp that they wanted to start using guys who go through the camp so that way, kind of like how WWE uses people from the PC. They're trained a
mm.
certain way that WWE wants them to. Well, Exodus wanted to do something very similar with the co-op. So about a month or so in, EC3 pulled me aside, said, "Hey, we're probably going to pair you up with this guy. We're thinking about putting you guys as a tag team." And I was like, "Awesome!" And I was super excited, super nervous because, well, I so for Exodus Pro compared to some other shows I'm on, it's a good kind of nervous because I know people are watching. I know the people whose opinions that matter to me are watching, and I know I'm going to get feedback once it's done, and that's a great thing because it helps me learn and grow as a performer. So to answer your question, I was excited but also very nervous in all the right possible ways.
There's a hell of a roster there. Like I've really
Yeah.
enjoyed the shows. The roster at Exodus Pro is phenomenal, and I feel like every time they run a show and air it, it just keeps going up a notch and up a notch and up a notch. Is that the kind of feeling amongst the roster that every time there's a new show, you're just you're leveling up each and every time.
Oh, definitely. Again, all of us there, like we feel like we're a part of something very important, part of something that could definitely end up being bigger than what some people like. Like some independents are fine just being there once, like a once a month or family like community show or whatever. But everybody there at Exodus wants everything to keep going up and up and up. It's very competitive in that way, and again, and not in a bad way, in a very very good way, to where we all want to outdo each other because we all want everything to be better and
Yeah.
want to keep it going up and up and up and up and up. So yeah, it's we all, at least from my perspective, I can't really speak for everybody there, but from my perspective, everybody there wants everything to keep going up, and we all feel like we're going in the right direction.
Well, certainly from what we've been watching, it's certainly definitely going in the right direction. And I don't think there's any doubt about that. But you mentioned obviously when you were there doing your training that the Billy was there, and the NWA has gone for. I mean, I've only started watching it for about 3 years now. Fee, you've watched it a lot longer than me. Obviously, you're the one that got me into it, as we always say on the show. I don't know if you've watched the NWA or you're watching the NWA on Roku, but do you think that like it's kind of now we're seeing more people from the territories, and notably not just from the NWA territories, from Exodus Pro Wrestling that are now making that jump up to the NWA.
So I do feel like the whole reason why they set up the territory system was to keep an eye out for talent. Again, I might be completely wrong with this. I don't have any like major contacts or management at NWA or anything like that. This is just from my opinion, from what I'm seeing, from where I'm at, is like the territories are kind of like they're developmental.
Yeah.
Like if you're on NWA's radar, they want to put you in one of their territory systems to to not only prepare you to be on TV, but also see what you can do, see how you handle everything, and hopefully get a shot at like main NWA shows. Like I know a lot of, like you mentioned, a lot of Exodus guys have been popping up on NWA the last year or so, and there's a reason for that. Is because people at Exodus, like the guys at Exodus, are talented, and NWA should be keeping an eye on guys from Exodus and from other territories to fill spots, because it's kind of like how WWE pulls people from NXT. And at least again, my opinion, I'm not in contact with anybody from NWA like management or anything like that, so I can't really say what their mindset is with it. But for me, I think a feeder system with like the territories, get guys where you want them, and then bring them up, so they don't have to just learn on the fly, like first day in the door kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so that's the best way I can answer that question, I think.
Yeah, no,
Would
that's
you
fine.
would you class Exodus Pro as kind of your home territory, your home promotion these days, or are you still doing a lot of work with KSWA?
So yes, Exodus, I do consider Exodus my home promotion. As for KSWA, they were a Pittsburgh local territory, like a local indie promotion, and sadly they uh, ended operations after 25 years this past December. That's why I wasn't at Exodus Journey 3, was
Okay.
because December 6th was KSWA's last ever show,
Oh,
and
that's quite sad.
they gave me a shot, and they booked me for a solid 10 years when a lot of other places weren't really giving me any opportunities, didn't really want to take a look at me. So I would have felt completely terrible, and it would have felt wrong for me not to be at their last show. And bless everybody from Exodus, they completely understood. There was no like ill feelings towards me for missing the December show. They understood that KSWA was something special for me, and it
Yeah.
was going to be their last show. And yeah, everybody was cool, and it was a very emotional night. And I got a so you guys might be able to tell from my performances. I'm usually a bad guy when I'm on shows.
Yeah.
So for the 10 years I worked at KSWA, I was a bad guy the entire time. The crowd would chant Barbie at me, would boo me. Um, I literally had a fan assault me once with nachos. Like it
Oh
was
my God.
so it it was one of those places where I was basically a forever bad guy. And then on their last show, I was put into a gauntlet match where I thought, okay, well, I'll probably be in the middle of the gauntlet and I'll get a few minutes or whatever. But they had me start the gauntlet and go all the way to the end of the gauntlet. Basically, it was 20 minutes of just showcasing me.
Wow.
Wow.
And then at the end of the match, a very good friend of mine, he retired that night, Joshua Kavad, shook my hand. The crowd started cheering for me, and then I was trying to leave the ring, and the ring announcer put me over. And then literally, I looked around, everybody in the crowd was standing up and cheering for me. And I swear to you, I almost cried.
Oh.
It was like I'm getting a little emotional just now thinking about it. Because that crowd had seen me for 10 years develop and experiment with different things, and just for them to show me that kind of appreciation, it was very special. It was very special to me.
Yeah,
I
I
can
could imagine it
imagine.
was. That was a nice touch from them at the end there. From that emotional bit, let's just start giving you some I'm going to fire some random wrestling questions at you now, just to break it up a little bit. We'll see what your answer is. I catch some wrestlers not off guard, but sometimes they have to do a bit of thinking. So here we go. The first question is, what is your top? So I say Mount Rushmore, but top five best wrestling theme songs that you like to hear or listen to?
Ooh. Well, I'm gonna put mine at number one, but if I have to be unbiased, um, Cult of Personality is up there. I think
100%.
that it's a banger. And this shows my bias a little bit for CM Punk. But This Fire Burns is also a banger. I listen to that song all the time in the gym. Um, Let me think here. Drew McIntyre's Broken Dreams.
Yeah, need to bring that back.
It's it's very much so. Bray Wyatt's
Ooh.
final theme song, the one the
Yeah,
Wyatt Six still uses.
Shatter.
I shattered. Thank you. That one's again. It's on my workout playlist. Um, I'm trying to think because there's so many good ones. But to pick one more. I greatly enjoy Kenny Omega's theme from AEW.
Oh, the one he's using now.
Yes, I think it's also the one they used when they first started AEW. I think he took a break and was using a different song for a little
Battle
while,
Cry.
but then he went back. Yes, Battle Cry. Again, all the songs I just mentioned, except for Cult of Personality, because I listened to it so much, I kind of got sick of it a little bit. That is all on my workout playlist when I go to the gym.
There we go. That's a good.
That's
That's a good
fair.
one to start off. Yeah, that's fair. I like Cold Personality. It's in my car. Okay.
See, I had the album. I had the Living Colour album growing up, so I knew it long before. So when punk started coming out to it, and folk were like, "How do you know that?" I was like, "Oh, it's been around a long time."
Been around the business a while. If Handsome Harley could have a table containing three wrestlers, past or present, wrestling personalities, past or present, where you can have dinner with for the evening and learn wrestling, who's the three people that you would choose?
Hmm. That's a very, very good question. I would say EC3, but I talk to him very regularly because he still runs the co-op. So I'm going to exclude him in this answer. So I'm going to try to pick somebody who either I haven't talked to yet or somebody who I can't because obviously they sadly passed away. So, it, while I'm not personally the biggest fan of Hulk Hogan, I think it would have been very interesting to hear some of his stories because obviously, like we all know, his stories were a little inflated. So,
Really?
so,
No, never.
hearing some of his stories would have been very interesting. Um, hmm. uh, I want to say probably Steve Austin because again, I was born in '93. I grew up at the tail end of the Attitude Era, going into the 2000s.
Yeah.
He was the top guy on one of the biggest times in the business. So it'd be very fascinating to hear from him. And honestly, I think John Cena, just for the same reason, just on the other end, because he was on top for so long, longer than I want to say anybody, like even Hogan. I think he was on top longer than even Hogan, without really needing to change up his character or anything like that, because Hogan had to do the change in WCW where he went from a good guy to a bad guy and to get back on top. Cena was just on top from like what was like 2004 all the way until this year when he retired. He was considered one of the greats. So I would be fascinated to hear from his point of view and his perspective on things as well.
Yeah, definitely. That's a quite a good table. I normally choose Paul Heyman, Eric Bischoff, and Jim Cornette, but I think they may have been a few issues having those three at a table.
I think you just want to. I think you just want to see someone fight in a Waffle House. I think that's all you want to see.
Yeah, exactly that. Right, Holly, it is well at time of recording. It's Royal Rumble weekend, my favorite pay per view.
And mine.
Oh, and yours, Fee. Great, that's good. So both of our favorite pay per views of this weekend. Actually, before I asked you, Fee, who are you picking to win the men's and the women's Royal Rumble?
Right, I'm gonna hold my hands up here. You know that I don't watch
That's why
wrestling.
I asked.
I don't. I watch my NWA shows and that's it. I don't really watch a lot of wrestling. So I don't even know what the card for this weekend is. That's how far removed from WWE I am these days. So I think I kind of have to pass judgment on that till I have a little bit more information. So what I will do, I promise you, I will have a look, and then when we record the review for NWA, I should have some answers for you by then.
All right, I'll write that down. I for one, I can't answer it for a reason. I'm taking part in a podcast prediction league, so I can't have
Oh, I
my.
thought
Oh,
you were
actually, I
saying you were
can.
in.
Yeah, yeah, actually, I can because by the time this goes out, the Royal Rumble will be finished and nobody will know. So there we go. So for the men's one, I think it's part of me. This is where I'm a bit stumped because half of me thinks Roman Reigns, and the
Mhm.
other half thinks Seth's going to come back and win it and then go on to WrestleMania. And the interesting thing is now is they've also said that so whoever wins the Rumble gets their shot. And what's come out today is whoever wins the Elimination Chambers gets the other shot at the other World
Yeah.
Championship. So that's how they're going to do it this year. Um, I'm going to stick my neck out and say Roman on the men's. For the women's, I want Liv because I think she deserves it. But I'm going to say the person who I think's going to win it and come back and win it, and that's Bianca Belair. So they're my picks. But they might not be the official picks because I got to talk to David first because we got to come to an agreement. So I'll get that out of the way first. But as a surprise, maybe Chris Jericho will be back in WWE by this week. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Brock Lesnar has declared very as well today for the Royal Rumble. That was on Pat McAfee via camera. So what a way to declare. But anyway, Hardy, look, Fee hasn't given an answer yet. I've kind of given you an answer. Who's your picks?
So for the women, I'm going to agree with you. I think Liv Morgan has the momentum and the stories there for her to win and go on to challenge for the title. And it caused a whole different wrinkle with the Judgment Day storyline that they've been working on for the better part of the year now. So I, I genuinely have a hard time thinking of anybody other than Liv Morgan. But I do agree with you that Bianca Belair might be a big surprise. So maybe she comes back and wins it off the injury. But who knows? So I'm gonna have to say out of everybody that I could think of, because I know a lot of people might say, oh, what about Rhea Ripley? She's the face of the women's division. She's like one of the top people in WWE. I don't see her having the momentum, the storyline to go into Mania with the Rumble win, but
Hmm.
I can see Liv Morgan doing that. So I don't know. That one's tricky. As for the men, for me, I want to say Roman Reigns, just because if he's getting put back to the title picture, that would be the easiest way for them to do it. While they could obviously have him enter the chamber and win the chamber as well, I think him winning his third Rumble, and it would be his third Rumble win, right?
Think so.
I,
Got to be close. Yeah.
which if it's his third Rumble win, they'd be tying Austin for the most Rumble wins in history. And WWE loves to make history.
They
Oh, they
Uh,
do.
do.
So I could see Roman winning it. It's going to be in Saudi Arabia. It's probably going to be their biggest Rumble sellout they've ever had. Heck, the country even built their own stadium for the show.
They did.
So I, I I really don't see anybody other than maybe Roman. Cody has a chance, and I can see them giving the third win to Cody as well. But I think the story of Roman coming back, winning the Rumble, challenging McIntyre, but then Cody winning the Chamber and also winning the challenge McIntyre, make it a triple threat or having some. I don't know why I keep leaning towards triple threat for Mania with McIntyre, Rhodes, and Roman is what I'm leaning towards. Personally, I don't know if that's what they're going to do, but that's to me sounds like it'd be a money match. And yeah, so if I'd have to pick anybody, I'd probably say Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns. Well, I'm not going to say who, but we've got two of my podcast prediction league picking Roman, one picking Seth, and one picking Braun Breaker. There's another seven to declare, so to speak. So I can't tell you the rest of them because they're not declared yet. But final question before we start to move on. If you could have a band play you out at a show, which band would it be?
Ooh, that's a tough one because like while I do enjoy music, um, I don't really remember like band names and everything like that very often. Um, yeah, that one I'm not really sure I have an answer for you because like I said, because I do like a lot of different type of music. And there's some bands that I remember like my growing up, my dad would listen to a lot of REO Speedwagon and stuff like that. But as for a band to play me to the ring, similar to like, I'm guessing you're talking about like what In Living Color did for CM Punk and Cult
Yeah.
Personality, and God, who is the band that sang Rhea Ripley to the ring a couple years back?
Oh, I know who you mean, but I can't remember the names.
Yeah. So yeah, that one I really don't have an answer for you. Just because like I'm not a huge like my my band knowledge compared to my wrestling knowledge is not as vast.
All right, let's see. Let's do a Roddy Piper here then. Just when you think you have the answers, I'll change the question. Who would you like to play? So if there was a film coming out about Handsome Harley, who would be, if it's not you, who would be the lead actor in that film?
Uh, hmm. I want to say Chris Evans,
Mhm.
because I think that like he could probably he could pull off the funny stuff, the serious stuff, and I don't know. I think like Grant, it's hard to look as good as Handsome Harley. It really is hard. I mean, like
I'm I'm going down
it,
the Ryan I'm going down the Ryan Gosling look. I'm going down Ryan Gosling for you, I think.
There we go. Ryan Gosling or Chris
Yeah.
Evans for Handsome Harley there. But look, we're going to start to wrap it up now. We're going to start talking 2026. Harley, obviously, there'll be another Exodus Pro show coming up soon. Hopefully, well, there is one. Hold the line.
March.
That's the next one.
Yes,
That
Yeah.
is the next
yeah,
one,
it's
which
coming
we
up in March.
that is indeed coming up in March. Hopefully you'll be on that. But if, say, for example, 2026, you were fortunate enough to get a call to go to an NWA show, do you have any wrestlers in mind that you would like to take on in the NWA?
Um, yeah, definitely. So obviously, there's guys from Exodus. Like I've never really had the chance to work with Pretty Boy Smooth. He just recently signed with the NWA, so that would be cool. Uh, Cristiano Argentino. I always get his last name wrong. Uh,
Argento.
um, Argento, thank
That's
you. Cristiano Argento, thank you. I would like to work with him. Um, all three of the Southern Six, especially since right now Thrillbilly is the champion.
yeah.
Uh, that'd be cool if I ever got a chance to work with him. Um, Same thing with Trevor Murdoch. Same thing with Mike Knox. Um, Trying to think of Mike Mondo would be cool to work with.
Yeah.
Uh, there's honestly, I'm the kind of guy that's like I want to try to work with everybody at some point. Because again, the more people I work with, the better I get, the more experience I get, the more that's how I like to view it. So honestly, it's hard to narrow down to just a few who work at NWA that I would like to get in the ring with because I like to get in the ring with with all of them at some point.
Okay, well, going off the back of that, if you were asked to be an entrant into the next Crockett Cup, but you got to pick your tag partner, who would you take with you?
Um, so I'd probably say my old tag partner. There's two that come to mind, but the one that would be first up would be my old tag partner, Gorgeous Gregory. He was the guy I was tagging with when I first debuted at Exodus Pro. We were under the team name of Handsome and Gorgeous, Gorgeous and Handsome.
Love it.
So, and he's actually the robe you guys were talking about earlier was designed after his ring jacket, so we would have more matching entrance gear
Oh,
and stuff like that.
cool.
Because originally it was going to be a jacket, but then life happened, some stuff came up, and he hasn't been around at Exodus. So I got a hold of my gear maker and I said, "Hey, can you make it into a robe but keep the same style so me and him still kind of match?" Not a problem. A couple months later, I had the robe. It looks nice. That's why it says the handsome one on the back,
Right.
because his jacket says the gorgeous one.
Oh,
Uh,
superb.
the other guy I would pick, and this is just a nostalgia reason. Um, and I know like guns and stuff like that are kind of a touchy subject in a lot of modern day and all this stuff. But me and a guy I was teaming with at the time went by Zach Hunter. He goes by Zach Myers now, or Mad Dog Myers. We were known as Team 12 Gauge.
Okay.
Me and him worked at KSWA. We were tagging for a long time. Eventually, he wanted to go off and do some single stuff, and this is before I was Handsome Harley. This is before I developed into that character and had that kind of personality. So, like, just as a nostalgia thing, I think it'd be cool to be teaming with him again.
Do you know what we need in Exodus Pro fee? I've just thought about it.
Well,
We need Handsome Harley and his team partner against Shot Through the Heart.
that would be
Yeah,
cool.
that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, EC3 Noah, get it booked. Get it booked. We need that. We need that. And in fact, if I had to choose, not if I had to choose a partner, but if I was to put Handsome Harley in with an NWA talent for the Crockett Cup, I would break Alex Taylor away from the Southern Six and have Alex Taylor
Ooh,
and Handsome Harley together as the Crockett
interesting. Okay.
in there. I think that'd be great. Fee, your last wrestling question, please, before you deliver that random question that
My, oh, so I can't jump right. I won't jump in with it yet.
no, no,
Then
no, no.
that's
Don't
fine.
repeat yourself.
Okay.
No, no, no.
Really, I want to know where's very generic. Where's next for Handsome Harley? What's in the future? What's in the plans?
So I am normally pretty booked up. Going like the end of last year, I went about pretty much a straight 3 to 4 months where I didn't have a weekend off. And I was wrestling for multiple promotions. This year is looking the same. I have a show in Akron, Ohio this coming Saturday, which will probably be passed by the time you guys air this, for Rubber City Wrestling. I am the current uh, Rubber City Wrestling light heavyweight champion. I've had that title for about a year and a half now.
Good
So I
stuff.
have that show coming up. I'm supposed to be going up to Wisconsin at the beginning of February for Frozen Tundra Wrestling. I've been up there for a few years. It's a long road trip, but a very rewarding one. There's a restaurant up there that I highly recommend if anybody's up that way. It's called the Pine Cone Restaurant. It is delicious. You get big desserts. It's great.
Oh, you got
Um,
me on big desserts. I'm there.
oh,
There.
highly recommend. Obviously, Exodus Pro is coming up in March. I got that. I'm also going to be around for a particular show in Pittsburgh in the middle of February. I'm keeping a little hush hush, a little bit of a thing that I don't want to spoil anything, but just keep your eyes out around the Pittsburgh area in the middle of February. I started up with a promotion last year called Oldie Wrestling. So whenever they start announcing dates, I'm going to be working with them. Same thing with Pros of Wrestling coming out of Pittsburgh. I'm going to be working with them as well this year. Let me think here. Strong Style Lucha out of Bel Air, Ohio. I work with them a lot when I get the chance. They run on a lot of same dates. I'm already booked, so sadly I'm not there as often as I would like. Mon Valley Pro Wrestling out of Charleroi, Pennsylvania. I work there. So does my twin brother. Um, yeah, it's Mon Valley Pro Wrestling. God, I'm trying to think of like, cause I work, as you guys can tell, I work a lot of places. I'm trying to make sure I don't forget anybody. Um,
You
so
are a
I
busy
work,
man.
very, very much. But I like the fact that I'm booked up as in all these places because it's reps, it's time in the ring, it's me living the dream I've always wanted to live. I just need to get to a point now where it's paying my bills.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the main bit. We look forward to seeing you more in 2026. But where can everyone find you on social media and how can promotions book you for shows?
So you guys can find me on Facebook at Harley T Morris. You guys can find me on Instagram at Harley T Morris, on Threads at Harley T Morris, on Instagram as Harley T Morris. I post a lot of like gym selfies and protein snacks and dietary stuff that I'm into on Instagram. You can share on Facebook threads and all that stuff. For booking, shoot me a message. Let me know, location, time, date. Uh, Usually, if they're a new promotion, like, hey, we're starting up, we're a brand new place, we're looking at this date. I usually like to try to wait until they actually run a show or two to make sure they're legit because I've had places hit me up for dates before, and then we're 2 weeks away. How we had to cancel, and that eats up a date for me. Now I have to turn down other places and all this other stuff. So, if any serious inquiries or any serious places want to book me, message me on any of those platforms. Would be the best way to do it. I have a lot of Sundays and Fridays available, and again I do DoorDash for a living to pay my bills. So my schedule is very flexible. So if a promotion runs a weekday, I can do a weekday. If they run Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I can do that. Just message me, let me know the dates, and I will let you know if I'm available or not.
There you go. That's how you book the handsome one on the show. But of course, Fee, these interviews would never be the same. And quite frankly, I don't think the guest would ever be the same again after you give you your final question. We've had dinosaurs where you asked Brandon Beretta what part of a wrestling ring or what part of a wrestling ring he would be if you couldn't be the wrestler. You've gone, I don't know what else you've gone and done. But what is the question for the handsome one to round off the evening?
My question for you today, Harley, is it's a would you rather.
Oh.
Would you rather fight one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses?
Duck-sized horse, because if it's got that size and it's coming at me, I can obviously like duck low, kick out its legs, grab a wing, try to bring it down. There's 100 little tiny horses all kicking me in the shins, I'm gonna be in some trouble. So I'd rather go with the one horse-sized duck.
Wow, there we go. That was a quite quick answer. You normally catch them off the hop. You caught Pretty Boy Smooth off the hop so many times he had to wait 3 hours to respond to us
Yeah.
on that on the one we had Smooth on. But anyway, back to reality quickly. We're going to round off the evening now. So look, coming up on the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast, we have just announced it. Next week, we're going to be interviewing Jimmy Jacobs. Will be on the show next week, as will someone that's been at Exodus Pro. LJ Cleary will be coming on. He's in Ireland next week, so I'm going to have a chat with LJ when he's in Ireland and talk some more Exodus Pro wrestling. There's loads more coming, but I can't announce it yet. But Fee, I was going to say to you before we say goodbye to Harley, we're going to do it at the time of recording. We'll be back tomorrow for some NWA power, hopefully.
We will. We will. We will.
We will. But for Handsome Harley, from Fiona Lochran, and from me, Adam Cousins, you've been watching Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast. And until next time, everybody, buckle down, stay safe, and good night.